So, welcome back to the Healthy Skin Show. I'm your healthy skin coach, Takashi, helping you get clear skin and preaching to the world why food is the ultimate medicine. Today, I'm here with a very special guest, Mahbod Moghadam.
Was pretty good.
Yo. He's a buddy back in my crypto days, and he's the co-founder of Everipedia, which is the decentralized version of Wikipedia. He also co-founded Rap Genius, now known as Genius, and he's a real OG homie. So I'm really happy that he's here talking skin with me.
Thanks for having me on. Skin is my life, bro. For sure. This is my greatest concern.
First, we can talk about skin and then just kind of talk about, anything crypto related or just so. Let's see. When did you first kind of get into, taking care of your skin?
When I was in law school, I kind of had a messy breakup and I decided to become very, very healthy. I started going to the gym. I started trying to eat right, going to Whole Foods. But a lot of the stuff right off the bat, I got totally wrong. Like right off the bat, I was really into eating fruit. And then with the dudes who I started Rap Genius with, they had this one friend who was like, he was a pretty creepy dude. He was kind of like homeless. He lived in his car, but he was really smart. And he was the one who was like, every time you eat an apple, you think you're doing something healthy, but you're eating poison. So he was the one who put me on to not having sugar. And then also I had a friend who was a startup person. She's the one who basically told me that caffeine is the devil. I didn't stop drinking caffeine until I had brain surgery in 2018 though. I knew about it, but I didn't act on it until I had a big traumatic change in my life. It's my main thing. Basically, I'm an anti-caffeine preacher. I moved to New York City. The main reason I moved here is because everyone in this city is addicted to coffee and they think it's okay. It's the worst drug. It turns your skin into an alligator. It gives you acne. It also has a lot of messed up psychological consequences. Dedicated to getting the world off of caffeine.
Yeah, caffeine's definitely inflammatory. And you're so right. Kind of, you don't respect your health until something goes wrong. And then you're like all about being healthy. So for me, just, this past year in 2019, I had severe eczema. Like I couldn't move out of my bed because it was so painful. And I was bleeding all over my bed and like flakes of dry skin were just all over my sheets. And I'm like, why is this happening to me? So then I, dug into the science behind healthy skin, behind eczema. And I'm like, oh, it's my diet, which was causing me severe eczema. And now that I've healed through holistic methods, I just want to help others start healing and getting great skin. And so that's why I became a healthy skin coach.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because people don't want, I feel like I become the most unpopular person when I try to give advice, but I feel compelled, and I feel like since I had brain surgery, I'm kind of allowed to be that asshole.
Yeah. We're both trying to share our own experiences and the pain we went through, and being healthy is the foundation of living. So yeah, if people don't want our advice, then that's their problem.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for popularity. I know that it makes me less popular, but it was really the brain surgery was a wake-up call. And I realized that I need to be that asshole. I need to get in people's faces. I need to be pushy because I really just can't take this anymore. So I have something that I call the Trinity. It's sugar, caffeine, and sunlight. Those are my three enemies.
Interesting.
Caffeine is the worst one because caffeine is the most addictive and it's the one that people seem to think is okay.
Yeah, I don't drink caffeine because I can't sleep at night. My body's super sensitive, and I really try to limit my sugar. Now, when you said sun, that's interesting because I try to get 10 minutes of sunlight to get vitamin D.
What time of day?
In the morning, like 10 to 11 a.m.
Nice. Yeah. If you can do it super early or super late, that's the good sun.
Yeah.
Super early. I'm never up at that time. But yeah, like 7 a.m. 7 a.m. is when you want to go. You can go for like a run in the sun. But I don't know. I basically try to avoid that. I feel like I get my 10 minutes just incidentally by accident.
Yeah.
but my mentality is always like sun is bad, especially living in LA. It's the sun capital of the universe.
Right. Well, yeah, you don't want too much sun, obviously, because melanoma risks, but there's a lot of people who get sick in the wintertime because they're not getting enough vitamin D and they're deficient. And what you should be doing is getting a supplement in during the wintertime. But, I live in LA, and so I can get free vitamin D from the sun. And
That's the only supplement I take. It's with calcium because it also helps you absorb the calcium. I don't believe in vitamins, but that's basically the only vitamin I take is calcium with D3.
Yeah, I got a D3 vitamin. So this has 1,000 IUs, and I take like 4 of them. If you're in the sun for like 30 minutes, it gives you 10,000 to 20,000 IUs. So it's much cheaper and easier way for me to get vitamin D in. But it's very important because it's anti-inflammatory to the body. I also take this flaxseed oil, but next time I'm gonna get fish oil because of the EPA and DHA inside. So the omega-3 fatty acids are also anti-inflammatory. I'm like huge on reducing inflammation in my body, just because inflammation was causing me to have the acne during college and then eczema.
Yeah, I used to take the oil pills, but I guess I stopped just because nowadays I eat so much fish.
Yeah, if you're eating fish, like that's your main source.
My mission in life, like the most important part of my diet is that I eat a pound of salmon a day.
Okay, I love salmon. It's my favorite fish. It's so good.
I call it TSAD.
Yeah.
Pound of salmon a day.
How do you cook it?
I get it from Whole Foods.
Okay. You like sushi?
I used to eat sushi, but nowadays, I'm thinking about what you want to spend your money on, and it seems like sushi, you're basically just paying more for the salmon to be raw.
Yeah.
And I'm very cheap about it. Like I go to Whole Foods, like Whole Foods is expensive, but believe it or not, they actually have the cheapest salmon and it's high quality.
Yeah, you want good quality fish, especially. You don't want the mercury that's inside some of the farmed fish.
Yeah, I basically don't eat any other fish. I miss it, but these days I only eat salmon just because of mercury and pollution. I really would never eat swordfish. It's delicious, but like if you gave me $1 million to eat a piece of swordfish, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't think Ralph's sells a swordfish. I don't even know what that tastes. What that would taste like.
Swordfish tastes like steak. It's basically the highest fish on the food chain.
Uh-huh.
So it tastes like you're eating red meat. It's basically the red meat of fish. It's delicious, but then because they eat fish that eat other fish, they're tertiary. So the mercury gets concentrated exponentially. One piece of swordfish has basically the amount of mercury of 1,000 pieces of salmon. So like that's why some people tell me like, "Yo, aren't you worried about mercury because all you eat is salmon?" And I'm like, "Well, hey, if I eat one piece of swordfish, it's as bad as all the salmon I'm eating all year."
I don't eat red meat anymore, or I try to avoid it because I found out that's inflammatory to my body and to most people.
Yeah, I love red meat, but I'm too cheap. Like the only way I'm gonna get red meat is if I'm like getting like dry aged, a farm and fancy small farm. So I'm basically the only time I eat it is if someone else is paying. Like if someone's like buying me dinner, maybe I'll get a steak. I'm too picky. For red meat, it has to be quality. Like that's the thing. Chicken and salmon are basically the only proteins I eat, mostly salmon, just because they're simple. So it can be done well without being too expensive.
Okay, back to skin. So what products do you currently use?
I'm very passionate about my products. My cleanser is Roche-Posay. It's like the French version of Neutrogena. It's a big brand, but it's clean. It's just straight up clean. And then that's pretty inexpensive. That's like $15. My cream is very, very expensive. It's called Pyrotin 6.
What's the active ingredient inside? Do you know?
It's called furfural or something. It used to be called Kinurase.
Got it. I would have to look into the mechanism of action behind that ingredient to see what it's doing in the skin. So now that I have super sensitive skin now, I only use essential oils like almond oil and grapeseed oil, and I use that for my face wash, my body wash, and as a shampoo, just because I don't like the the stuff you can get at the grocery stores, which are super alkaline, and it's actually disrupting the skin and hair microbiome. That's what I found out. I use essential oils like for my washing and for as a moisturizer. So those
That's
are my
the
favorite.
Persian way. That was the way of the old world. My dad did that. My dad would wash with olive oil, and I would always be amazed because you read about it in the Iliad.
Yeah.
The Iliad, whenever they're taking a bath, they talk about taking out the oil.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, essential oils go back to like the biblical times, and you read about frankincense and myrrh. Those are great essential oils, and so.
Yeah, cleanser I don't think matters as much as food. Like all of this kind of stuff, it's nice, but food is the real make or break, in my
Oh yeah.
opinion. If
Oh
you eat
definitely.
healthy, you're not going to have acne. And then if you eat unhealthy, unless you have the greatest genes in the world, you're going to have acne. Even if you somehow are able to eat unhealthy and not have acne, there's going to be other fucked up stuff about your skin, like flakes or wrinkles, or something's going to go wrong.
Yeah. So the most common inflammatory foods are like dairy. I was drinking like a gallon of milk when I was growing up, like a week, just because of the marketing, got milk, those ads, and just the marketing of, oh, you need to drink milk in order to have stronger bones and all that BS. It really like destroyed my skin, and in college it was the worst. I went on Accutane, which is a pretty severe acne drug, and
Accutane is the worst.
yeah,
Psychologically, it has devastating consequences.
yeah. And a lot of people go on it thinking it's the last resort, and then they don't change up their diet, and that's
Yeah.
why I want to help them understand some of the inflammatory foods that they're eating. If they just change their diet, their skin would clear up so much.
Yeah,
And then,
dermatologists make me so angry, and then it kind of makes me not trust medical science, because if they're the ones prescribing Accutane but not telling you to like stop eating dairy and sugar.
the problem with Western medicine is these doctors and dermatologists are focused on like the scientific method, where they kind of isolate just one part of the body and they don't look at the holistic view, and they don't look at diet as affecting everything. So yeah, that's part of the problem. So that's why I always say food is the ultimate medicine, man. What started my big eczema flare up was eating like a whole thing of sausage pizza. So I had the red meat, I had the dairy, and I had the gluten, which I found out.
Yeah.
It's like the trifecta of inflammatory foods.
You just needed some pineapple on there. If you had
Yeah.
pineapple on there, you'd have sugar too.
So sausage pizza was my initial cause of the flare up. And then actually green tea was making me worse and worse and worse. And I was
Yeah.
drinking 3 to 5 glasses thinking it was anti-inflammatory. And for normal people, it is. But for me, it was just, I guess, the caffeine inside. And after I cut that out, it was like night and day, the difference in my skin. But
yeah, it's the caffeine. That was always my caffeine of choice too. Like I knew caffeine was bad, so when I wanted to get high, I would get the Chinese green tea from Coffee Bean, and that is like the crack of green tea. It has a lot of caffeine. Like afterwards, I would be shaking, everything. It would get me just as cracked out as espresso.
yeah, I mean, caffeine's the most used drug in the world.
It's the most evil drug, and I think it's on the rise. I don't have any studies, but I feel like in the past 10 years,
Oh, definitely.
the amount of coffee addiction has gone way, way up.
I mean, the sales of coffee, Red Bull, energy drinks are all just, skyrocketing. So,
That's why everyone's committing suicide. That's why no one is getting married or having kids, creating a huge caffeinated manic depression.
yeah, I mean, that's why I'm trying to help people, and preaching to the world why food is the ultimate medicine, and especially anti-inflammatory foods. And that's what I help clients with, is tailor their diet and cut out all the inflammatory stuff. Yeah, for some people, like gluten is a big factor.
Yeah, for everyone. Like you might be able to deal with it, but gluten is a bad, like, there's always the thing, are you allergic to gluten? It's like, yo, just don't eat gluten.
Yeah,
Especially there's rice. Rice is just so much better than gluten.
yeah, and I would recommend like brown rice or wild rice versus white rice. but it was, the statistic was like 6% of the population is sensitive to gluten, and then about 70% of us, of the world population, it has a intolerance to lactose, so are lactose intolerant to some degree. And so dairy is like a huge factor for people with acne or for people with eczema.
Shouts out to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the one who debunked the weightlifter milk. The weightlifters used to have something called GMAD. They said if you want to be a bodybuilder, you have to drink a gallon of milk a day. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger said milk is for babies. That was like his famous quote as a bodybuilder.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, during my bodybuilding days, I was drinking a ton of milk, and it was really screwing up my skin. You don't really connect the two until your skin gets bad and you're like kind of researching why is this happening, and then you're like, oh, when it clicks, it's like, oh, totally obvious.
I eliminated plant milk about a year ago too. Everyone thinks that plant milk is healthy. I don't think it's all. I think that has problems too. Obviously, it's not as bad as dairy milk, but
yeah,
I stopped drinking almond milk.
Almond milk, yeah. I mean,
basically my go-to.
Some of the almond milks have a lot of sugar. Like they add like 20 to 30 grams of sugar.
Well, they have unsweetened, but still, just the almond milk itself is bad for digestion. I've simplified my diet a lot. Like basically I eat salmon, avocados, rice cakes, tomatoes, and arugula, especially during quarantine. Like before I would mess around with the whole food salad a little bit, get some variety. But with quarantine, I've really, really got it down. Basically, I think you need your protein. You need some vegetables that don't have any sugar, especially greens, especially potent greens, like greens that burn or bitter. And then you need rice. Rice, I think, is the magical carb. I was keto for about 6 months, and I came to reject keto. I think one thing about rice, aside from energy and stuff, is that it helps with digestion. It kind of cleans your stomach.
Well, yeah. Are you doing white rice or brown rice?
Brown. Well, I only eat rice cakes because it's fun to like put avocados on top of them. Yeah. My new addiction is I drizzle vinegar over my rice cakes.
Okay.
Yeah, regular rice. I guess now because of quarantine, I should probably get a rice cooker. I've been boiling eggs again. So
boiling eggs? Yeah.
Those are like the two kinds of cooking I do. I boil eggs, and then it's been about 10 years, but back in college, I used to make rice on the rice cooker.
I lost my rice cooker when I was moving. I couldn't find it. But yesterday I had this giant, like one of the bulk-sized avocados, and I just put salt on it, and it's so good. It's such a simple way to eat, but it's just packed with nutrients and healthy fats. And yeah, I agree. Like darker the color, the more phytonutrients are inside the vegetables. So with I eat kale like every single day.
What's your type of kale?
At Ralph's, they have organic kale, and then they have this really darker green organic kale, and then red kale. So I get like all three. I just switch it up. Do you have a favorite type of kale?
In New York, I pretty much only eat the prepackaged dandelion greens because the hand-picked stuff is too dirty here. It's covered in dirt. But my favorite green of all time is dandelion greens. They're super, super bitter. They're like basically disgusting. I think that's the green that's the best for your skin.
Yeah, I mean, kale's up there. Kale's just packed with vitamin A and C and E. Daily value is like over like 200 or 300%. So kale's my favorite. Broccoli's always up there. And these dark green vegetables have a nutrient called sulforaphane, which is really important. Antioxidant, helps you live longer. It's yeah. And then you said tomatoes, which has lycopene, which is another phytonutrient, and that's also good.
Tomatoes are my sugar. If you think about it, tomatoes are the only fruit that I eat on a regular basis. It's the sweetest thing that I eat.
Okay.
And part of it is the whole prostate brainwash. They've been brainwashing me about like the prostate stuff. And then also they're just freaking delicious. It's basically like I'm the most anti-sugar person in the world, but sugar is so addictive that I'm still addicted to sugar. Everyone's addicted to sugar.
Yeah.
So this is basically my sugar, is my cherry tomatoes. I try to get the least sweet ones that I can.
Yeah. One of my favorite dishes is this Chinese egg and tomatoes combined. Have you ever, if you go to an authentic Chinese restaurant, they'll have that. If you go to like an Americanized one, they won't. Like that takes me back to like my good old days with my family, and so that's like nostalgia.
Yeah, on the one, I basically avoid restaurants, and on the one hand, Asian restaurants are my friend because there's no dairy,
Yeah,
like Chinese especially. But then a lot of cuisines they put a touch of sugar. Like the thing I basically have 100% eliminated is Thai. Like Thai food is so healthy; they eat so many healthy ingredients, but then everything has sugar sprinkled into it.
yeah.
Drives me insane. You think about it, like sushi is like supposed to be healthy, but then they put sugar in the sushi rice. I only get sashimi and then I'll get steamed rice on the side.
Yeah, sugars and everything. But the sweetest things I eat right now are blueberries and blackberries. That does have sugar, but I'm also trying to get the resveratrol in the skin of these fruits.
Berries are the most acceptable sugar for sure. That's the thing. I kind of just wish I had a girlfriend so that I could have an excuse to like eat berries together.
Yeah.
But I can't go like every time I'm in Whole Foods, I'm like, should I get berries for myself? And then I'm like, you're gonna spend $5 to eat berries by yourself, and then just get depressed that you don't have a girlfriend to like feed berries to.
Oh, but you're a very successful entrepreneur and angel investor. You don't need to be worried about your budget on fruit, dog.
I am. Even if I'm a billionaire, I'm very thrifty, especially when it comes to diet. Like whenever I'm eating something, I'm like, how much did I spend? And like there's something, I eat a pound of salmon every day. That's pretty much half of the money that I spend on food. But then especially with something like fruit, back in the days before I 100% eliminated sugar, I thought if I'm stealing the grapes from Whole Foods, it's okay. Like I would go in and I would just like eat a couple grapes in the store. But then I'm like, no, you just got to completely quit. I think the last time I had anything sweet was I went on a date and we shared some berries, and then she decided that she doesn't want to be with me. So I'm like, God damn it! My berries excuse is gone.
You'll find another one. Don't worry.
I hope. I hope I'm on. It's Corona season right now, so I'm on all the dating apps.
Yeah, I just downloaded Tinder again. I tried Hinge for a little bit. Hinge wasn't working out, and then Tinder, it's still not working out for me.
They're all owned by the same company, which is shady.
Yeah, Match.
That's my dream, is to someday build my own dating app.
It's funny you say that because I'm also working on a stealth project that has an aspect of dating into it. Can't share too much so far, but my developers are in Italy, and just the quarantine over there is just disrupting all business flow.
On my Tinder bio, I was thinking about putting like, listen, if you have acne, I'm not interested. Because like a lot on the Tinder, that's the number one way you get catfished on Tinder, is that someone will look attractive, but then will have acne in real life, and you can't see it in the photos.
Okay, that's an interesting way to go about it. Most girls will be like, "That's such a dickish thing
Yeah,
to say."
exactly. There's the semantic, and then there's the dating apps that really just highlight for me the nefarious coffee addiction.
I mean, there's a dating app called Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah, caffeine means gluten. I should add some chocolate in there too.
Oh yeah, I've actually been eating dark chocolate. It's like 85% dark chocolate because I read some research studies that said it increases white blood cell count. So I'm trying to boost my immune system during this whole crazy quarantine.
Chocolate has just as much caffeine as coffee, so you're basically just having coffee.
So far it hasn't. My skin's still fine. If I see like my skin getting worse, then I'll definitely cut out the dark chocolate. I was just more like focused on boosting my immunity during this time.
I think for immune system, in my opinion, the most important thing is protein. You just need to get a lot of protein. I told my mom, like, she doesn't like to eat that much protein because it's hard to digest. That's basically, it's true about everyone. But right now, I think all of us have to basically sacrifice comfortable digestion to eat a lot of protein. And then, since you have to eat more protein, you have to eat more greens to wash the protein. So I'm basically, I'm keeping my salmon at the max, and I'm increasing my arugula.
I just get a ton of vitamins in from the kale that I eat, asparagus, blueberries, blackberries, broccoli. So I got my veggies covered, and then I get my protein from chicken, eggs, almonds. Yeah, like my diet is very healthy. I mean, it has to be in order to have healthy skin.
Water is the most important part. And water, for me, it's very troubling because there's really no healthy, sustainable way to drink water. There hasn't been in all of human civilization. That's basically the central problem of human civilization. And we still haven't solved it. So, like, another one of my dreams would be if someday I could build a sustainable water company. I
Yeah,
drink water out of bottles and I feel horrible.
I got one right here.
Yeah.
Don't make me feel bad.
Well, no, yours is reusable. I'm saying
Yeah.
basically my use of plastic, and I try to cut it down by drinking gallons.
Mm-hmm.
But my main use of plastic is water. But then tap water is not good enough. The only way I would drink tap water is if I could install like a really, really baller filter, which would cost around $30,000. And then I would need to get it serviced every couple of months.
30,000 seems insane for a
That's
good
how
water.
much the baller ones go for. Like Mucker Capital had a $30,000 water filter in the office. And then every time we would go in for investor meetings, I would bring an empty gallon with me and fill it up.
Interesting. Yeah, I got like a $300 or $400 water filter placed in, and yeah, I mean, it tastes great, but it's not as baller as a $30,000 one. That is for sure.
It would be cool if there was just alkaline water delivery. Like there should be an app that's affordable alkaline water delivery, and they figure out a way that like it's reusable plastic. Like they pick up your empty plastic and they're able to efficiently recycle it. I would be a huge subscriber. I would want to invest in that. I would want to work for that company. That would basically be my dream company.
Interesting.
I want to fix the water plot problem. A lot of people are environmentalists, so they're like, okay, I'll drink tap water. And it's like, hey, I want to drink tap water too, but in big cities, tap water is not good enough for me. I'm too picky.
Yeah, no, I get it. The Michael Berry who was the Sign Capital portfolio manager during the 2008 bubble, and he shorted the housing bubble and made a ton of money. He at the end of the Big Short movie, they said he's investing in water projects because he sees that as the future. So I mean, you are the angel investor. You could totally find a project or maybe create one yourself.
Right before I joined Everipedia, there was this guy he's Persian. We found each other through like mutual Persian homies. He has one of the biggest alkaline water brands.
Mm.
And he wanted to bring me on as a partner, but it's funny, I don't drink his water because it's not good enough. He kind of has he has like the cheap one that you see at like Whole Foods and Erewhon and stuff.
Yeah.
The one that I drink is called Essence. Essence is the bomb, but then they only have it in California. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah, I was reading about our microbiome in our mouths, and what happens is when you eat like acidic foods, it destroys the enamel in the teeth, and so that's why you get cavities and sensitivities. But if you actually have an alkaline mouth, it remineralizes the teeth, so your teeth get stronger. So I was thinking, just get like alkaline water and just like swish it around in your mouth every once in a while, just to help rebalance your teeth microbiome.
You should definitely do that at least. But I've become so picky, I basically need to brush and floss immediately after eating.
Yeah.
But at the very least, you want to rinse it with water, and alkaline water does make a difference. It also makes the water not get infected. Like my dentist one time got freaked out that I drink gallons because he's like, by the time you finish that, there's going to be bacteria in there. But then when he saw that it was alkaline, he's like, oh, well, no, if it's alkaline water, then that means it's going to take longer for the bacteria to take over. So yeah, I'm a huge alkaline water snob, and I feel terrible about the environmental impact that I'm making, but I'm hoping that an engineer can help me. I'm willing to start the company to change this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone makes the water for me, I'll make it the #1 product on Instagram and Facebook.
Boom. All right. Whoever's listening and watching, go to Mahbod for your alkaline water project ideas, and maybe you can be the next $1 billion founder of a startup.
Please. Yeah, well, when we started the interview, I said skin is my passion, but really, in some ways, water is my passion. But then we're kind of talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, just like skin is representative of your entire health, water is kind of representative of it too. Like that's the essence of health.
Oh yeah.
Yellow pee is the enemy.
Yeah.
I think just everyone in the world needs to understand, if your pee is yellow, you've done something wrong.
So it's funny you say that, because I just bought a pH level checker on Amazon. So I checked the pH of my water, and it's at like 7.4 right now. So pretty neutral, which is what you want.
Well, that's alkaline. 7.4 is reasonably alkaline.
Slightly alkaline. I was gonna use this on my almond oil to see if it's around 4 to 5, which is the same level of the pH of your skin. So it mimics what's called the acid mantle, which is the protective acidic barrier on your skin. So that's why I bought this.
I didn't know that.
I was forced to become a skin guru, but now that I know the science behind a lot of these things, I want to help everyone out. I publicly declared that in my lifetime, I want to eradicate eczema with the proper coaching and education.
True. Yeah, definitely.
So
I think coronavirus is very, very good for skin. I can definitely feel a difference with the pollution levels dropping.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the skies in LA right now, and it's beautiful, bright blue. This is one way the earth kind of resets itself. It sounds dark, but with less people.
Yeah. That's why we're all addicted to caffeine. Everyone's addicted to caffeine so that like no one has sex and no one has kids and everyone commits suicide. I think the population of humanity is going to be reduced by 50% in the next 50 years. Like no one my age is having kids. Like I know so many people who are it's pretty much guaranteed that they're never going to have kids. Like talented people, smart people. And some of it's by choice. Some of it is by these, the social climate with like caffeine addiction, porn, dating apps. Like there's all these things that are kind of making mating more difficult. STDs are a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Now we've got coronavirus.
It's crazy because I go outside and like there's older people who are just scared to be within 6 feet of each other, and that mentality is gonna last a long time. It's like, okay, coronavirus is done, but I still don't really want to get close to you just in case you still have it, or just in case another virus pops up, because coronavirus can totally mutate and change into some other infectious virus.
I'm happy. I've been a no touching person for about 5 years, and it's gotten me into a lot of trouble, especially with Persians. Like my whole extended family got really mad at me because I basically made a stand and I refused doing the 2 kisses on the cheek. And the reason I was doing it was not coronavirus. The reason why I stopped doing it was acne. I became basically very, very picky about touching my face to anyone else's face.
Yeah.
Also, there's the thing of touching your own face. Like for me, if you gave me $1,000 to just take my finger and like put it somewhere on my face, I wouldn't do it.
Really?
I see people touching their face. Like you see, believe it or not, you see people in the subway. They put their hand on the subway pole and then they use it to rub their face. I won't even, if I just washed my hand perfectly with antibacterial soap, I still won't touch my face.
Yeah, there was a video going around on Twitter of someone like purposely taking off the mask, kind of coughing in their hand, and then just kind of rubbing the poles. in the subways, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then there's videos of I saw like an old lady just spitting on walls to spread the virus. It's like, what?
Amazing. I just touch nothing. When I go in the subway, I consider it surfing. I don't touch the poles. I don't touch the seats. I just like, I get it. I get down into like fighting stance, and I'm like subway surfing.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's kind of a good abs exercise.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole coronavirus pandemic kind of shows you how fast some of these viruses can spread, and you don't even know it. Like some people are perfectly healthy, but it's just every day we're spreading germs and pathogens with each other. It kind of like, yeah, it makes you realize how dirty the outside world is.
How dirty humans are. Yeah,
Yeah.
humans are super dirty. And then I never get sick. I haven't had a cold or a flu or anything like that uh, since law school, basically since I started working out and eating healthy. I guess I had brain surgery, but that's not my fault.
Yeah.
And the two things, so protein is the main thing that strengthens your immune system, I think. The main thing that weakens your immune system, surprise, surprise, is caffeine. So I guess smoking too,
Okay.
but caffeine is no exception. It definitely weakens your immune system.
Yeah.
So that's another reason not to drink coffee.
I do know caffeine's inflammatory, and that's why I avoid it.
Caffeine, it's all about the crash. Caffeine gives you the best high. Not just caffeine, like it's uppers versus downers. Uppers give you a better high than downers.
Mm-hmm.
People like uppers more. There's more people who are addicted to uppers than downers. But uppers have a bigger crash.
Oh, yeah.
Like the crash, like when you smoke weed, the next day you might feel kind of groggy or whatever, but it's not the end of the world. But when you drink caffeine and one day you don't drink it, you get the headache.
Yep.
You get the nausea, you get withdrawal, you get withdrawal symptoms that downers simply don't have.
Yeah. For me, like if I drink even just this much caffeine, I can't sleep at all.
Yeah, well, with all drugs, I don't think people think that like it matters how much of drugs you do. My philosophy is drugs are drugs. Like if I take one puff of a cigarette or one puff of weed or whatever, it's the same for me. It's the same as if I smoked a whole pack. It automatically makes me dizzy. It automatically makes me lightheaded. Like I take one sip of alcohol. I drink one sip of wine. I automatically get like the buzz. You get the feeling from a very, very small amount of drugs.
Well, yeah, especially if you don't use it at all, then your body's super sensitive to these, drugs for sure.
Even if you do, like I actually read somewhere that if you're an addict, you're even more sensitive to a small amount. Like if you're addicted to Coke, you just need like that tiny little bit, and then that's going to set you right.
Well, yeah, I mean, your body has become so dependent on these stimulants that they need it to keep going.
My drug is weed. That's pretty much the only drug I do, and it's because I'm a big weed enthusiast. It's still bad, but weed is the only drug that is not bad for your skin.
So I actually made a video yesterday about cannabis on the skin, and there's a lot of promising research studies being put out where it can help reduce inflammation in the skin. It has anti-acne effects. I also put out another video, the anti-inflammatory effects of marijuana, and what it does is reduce some of these pro-inflammatory cytokines, which are signaling proteins that causes inflammation. So one of them being TNF, which stands for tumor necrosis factor. And I like to present alternative solutions to prescription drugs that help reduce inflammation in the body. And Humira is the best-selling drug in the world, and it sells $20 billion worth every year. And that specifically blocks TNF to reduce the inflammation. But I'm like, you can do that with food, you can do that with plants, like using THC. So that's my whole thing, is using alternative methods instead of having to resort to prescription drugs.
Yeah, it's always Xanax in some ways copies weed. Like I think anything Xanax does, you can do with weed. And Xanax, I think, is a poisonous drug. Definitely bad for your skin. definitely way bigger crash and side effects. So
Yeah.
I
Do
don't
you,
touch it.
do you like smoking or edibles better?
I use the vape. I
Vape?
think the vape I have is called the Volcano. It's like a really, really fancy, complicated contraption. But then once you get used to that, I basically can't do anything, nothing else really. And I have some pills. I haven't taken one for ages, but I have these pills that are just like, clean edible. Obviously, like one problem I have with edibles is that for some reason they always put them in cakes and sugars and stuff.
It's funny you say that because I have these, it's called Canna Nano Gummies with 100 milligrams of THC. And it's got, yeah, 4 grams of sugar per serving.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat it. There used to be a company called Venice Cookie Co. The name sound they made only edibles, but like in spite of the name, they made a lot of sugar-free edibles. They actually had weed infused olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
It was the bomb.
That
But then
sounds great. Yeah.
they stopped the company. They were like the sad thing is they were really talented with like weed stuff, but I guess they weren't talented with legal stuff, so they
Yeah.
were forced to shut down.
Yep. You definitely need legal.
There's a business forming now that it's legalized in California. The sad thing is they can't be national companies. They can only be California companies. But there's some companies that I think are going to be like, once it becomes nationally legalized, they can become like the Veuve Clicquot of weed. There's this company called Source.
Hmm.
Source, I think, is the best cannabis. They're kind of building a brand name for themselves.
Do you have any investments in weed?
I wish. I would love to invest or get involved in some kind of cannabis company. That's kind of like water. These are my dreams. Cannabis, water, dating. The companies that I've done are basically knowledge projects, but I'm down to do something else. Like one of my dreams has always been just to sell something, to
Yeah.
have some kind of e-commerce.
Um,
We'll see who my next co-founder. I gotta find a talented nerd.
if you're watching this or listening to this, and if you're a nerd with with a big vision
An
for the
app,
future
yeah,
in water or dating or cannabis, hit up Mahbod.
or
And
anything. Yeah, hit me up. Just give me some equity, and I'll make you famous. All these videos, they give me equity, and I make them famous.
yeah, you can reach him on Twitter, or what's the best way to reach you at?
I got kicked off of Twitter, bro.
You did?
Yeah, they're going down. They're gonna but now I'm basically team Instagram. I'm team Zuck. So I'm on Instagram. My name is Mahbodpedia.
Okay.
Hit me up. Hit me up about skin. Basically my life on Instagram is every day. Like 10 rappers hit me up asking for Genius videos, and I tell them to start using the site, and then I'll give them the video. But now I can tell you. Now I can be like, all right, start using Genius. Don't eat dairy. Don't drink caffeine.
I do enjoy those videos on YouTube. I watch a lot of those, and and then when they talk about like the inspiration behind the lyrics,
Verified, yeah.
yeah, I love those videos. It's really interesting.
It's hot, man. And it was basically all Nas's idea. Nas was one of the first people who invested, and he was like, I want to break down my own lyrics. So we made a verified account product for him. And then we also got Eminem to invest, and Eminem went crazy.
Wow.
We actually found out he's obsessed with Genius. It's the only thing he uses the internet for. And he invested, and he went crazy. He basically broke down every single one of his songs, all the old ones.
Yeah, I mean, he's the king of rap. So you have him on board. I mean, it's legit.
He hasn't done his new album though, which I'm pissed. I'm about to hit up his manager and be like, "Come on, what the fuck? Let's get this show on the road."
He's probably busy with StockX. I know he's a big investor in that company.
I know. I heard. Yeah, they got. I think they also got Nas. They're copying us. I'm a sneakerhead too. That's another thing I would be very interested in.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would love your investment. Okay, yeah, let's talk about venture capital and angel investing. Could you list some of the companies that you've invested in the past few years?
Well, Coinbase was the big one.
Oh
I was
yeah.
an early investor in Coinbase, and then
Which round?
I invested in the same round as Brock Pierce
Wow.
and as Nasdaq. So it was a little bit after the Series B.
Series B. Okay.
It was a strategic round in between to get the big one was Nasdaq. Nasdaq invested. That was like a huge breakthrough. This was in 2014. In 2015, I made 5 different angel investments in YC companies, and all of them, except for one, have raised more money. So that's another dream job of mine, is just to have my own VC. I think I could kill it.
Oh, you would crush it. Okay, in 2018, Coinbase was valued at 8 billion. It doesn't say how much it's valued today, but I'm sure way more than that.
Yeah, I think Coinbase someday will exit minimum 20-30 billion dollars.
Who would buy them, do you think?
Facebook. Oh, my dream. My biggest dream in the world would be for Facebook to pay $30 billion and buy Coinbase. I think that could change everything.
But I mean, Facebook has the Libra project.
They actually just killed it a couple weeks ago. It's sad, but for me, it makes me think maybe they can just do things the better way.
Wait, they ended it?
Kind of, yeah. Kind of. Got it. Charge it real quick. Yeah, they kind of ended it.
I didn't see the news on that one. I know a lot of the companies backed out.
Yeah. Zuck just tried to bite it off more than he could chew, but I respect him. Like I've had a long relationship with Zuck, but when all is said and done, he's my favorite CEO. I think he's the greatest CEO who has ever lived. And I think that he's the most passionate person about crypto in all of Silicon Valley.
Okay, yeah, I don't see too many interviews by Zuck about crypto.
Jack is the one who like goes on Joe Rogan and is like, oh, I love Bitcoin. But Zuck is more like behind the scenes. Like he's actually trying to get shit done.
Okay, yeah.
So I think he's the man. I would love to help Zuck with his skin though. That was one thing. It just seems to me, I feel like that guy eats a very unhealthy diet. I met him in person. I met him in person a couple times, and I remember he just has a very sugar face. He looks like he eats a lot of sugar. So like the main thing I would tell him, I would tell him, you're not allowed to eat anything sweet. No caffeine. I'm sure he probably has a lot of caffeine.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink enough water. He's one who needs to start just carrying around a gallon.
You can be his personal nutritionist.
I would love to because I love that guy. That's the only stock that I own is Facebook stock.
I don't own any stocks right now. I
Smart.
I mean, I sold too early in I think it was at the end of 2018 when we had that first initial sudden dip, and then the Fed stepped in, and then we had like 2 more years of bull market. I think the market continues to go lower. They're saying the cases will peak in 2 to 3 weeks, and there's no way there's enough beds in the hospitals, so there's going to be way more deaths. And this is just New York. I mean, you see pictures or videos in Florida where people are doing spring break. They don't even care about coronavirus, so they're all spreading it around, and so many more people are going to unfortunately die.
We shall see. I still think it's a panic. I think a lot of this is overblown. It's a panic, but then also I think Facebook can be a lot stronger. For the internet, this is a great moment. There's a lot of people who don't like using the internet. I like using it, but there are a lot of people who don't. Mm-hmm. But coronavirus panic is kind of forcing them to learn to love it.
Yeah.
And then kind of, it's too early for crypto, but the same can be true of crypto. Like if the internet can become more and more ubiquitous, more people are going to become like me. They're going to feel the need for internet money.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally the future, is digital money, whether that is fiat or, a decentralized currency. I think our bet is it's going to be decentralized. And I mean, just this week, Fed is printing, $6 trillion in stimulus money?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pelosi tried to put something in that bill about a digital dollar too.
But saw that. I saw the headline.
For once in her life, she did something that I like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the future. We're going to have digital dollars, and then people are going to realize that these digital dollars aren't really backed by anything, and the Fed will keep printing more.
Yeah, and the thing that the reason why I'm so passionate about crypto is because of the crypto economy. Since I work on these knowledge projects with Genius, I always felt weird that people are working for us for free. Like either they're working for us for free or we have to hire them full time.
Mm-hmm.
And then one time I tried to give some of our users like one-time checks for $100. I called it Cash Genius. I
Mm-hmm.
actually got into a lot of trouble. Some of the users complained. Some of them accused me of being biased. It was fucked up, but it kind of taught me that like if you could just have something like, you know, we had on Genius, we had IQ points, but then now Everipedia has IQ tokens. Like, what if your points are worth money?
Yeah.
And this, like the site I feel the most shortchanged by is Facebook. Like I'm saying, I love Zuck, but I was one of the earliest users of Facebook. I think I'm one of the most passionate users of Facebook. Like I've been posting nonstop since day one. They should have just given me some equity. I feel like I should have gotten some Facebook tokens for all the hard work I put in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Zuck, if you're hearing this, give me like $3 million of Facebook coin. Thank you.
You think there will be a replacement for Facebook that incorporates cryptocurrencies in the future?
Everyone's trying to build it. Like our investor, EOS, just launched a voice. Maybe that's going to be it. But Zuck is so passionate and Zuck is such a beast that I think he might just be able to pull it off himself. Even though Libra crashed, I could see him buying Coinbase, using that to make his crypto dreams come true. Because look at what he did with Snapchat. Snapchat came out, it was basically the better version of Facebook. Everyone agreed this is the better version of Facebook. He tried to buy it, they said no. And then he copied them, and he copied them so perfectly that he actually made it better.
Yeah.
And now everyone just uses Instagram stories.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be able to do the same thing with crypto.
Interesting.
He's the best CEO in the history of capitalism. I think he's even better than Steve Jobs.
And Bezos?
Better than Bezos.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's the tough one. So Bezos I owe a lot to because he bought Whole Foods and he's just basically letting you like eat whatever you want from the salad bar. Thank you, Jeff. God bless you. But
yeah.
my respect for Zuck, because you know what Jeff did, Jeff doing the e-commerce play, that was huge, but it wasn't as brainy as like building the social network. And the most impressive thing Zuck has done is Instagram. Instagram has more traffic than the rest of the internet combined.
I didn't know.
And he built that. He bought it for $1 billion, and he put more focus on that than he did on the flagship app.
Yeah.
Also buying WhatsApp. Like no one has been a more savvy acquirer than Zuck.
Instagram, like, it makes up, I don't know the exact numbers, but like 10 or 20% of Facebook's revenues now, and it's growing much faster than
more. No,
more?
Instagram makes up, I think, the majority of their revenues.
Oh, okay.
More people use Instagram than use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Snapchat combined. Yeah, Instagram is just killing it. That's why it's the mother of all apps. And then for reaching out, for using it like marketing, like I do, it is the most valuable tool. I'm hitting up so many rappers. Like for Rap Genius, I used to use Twitter, and Twitter was cool because you could contact strangers, but it's nothing compared to Instagram.
Yeah. So I just looked up, Instagram reported 20 billion in ad revenue, which represents nearly 30% of the 70 billion in ad sales that Facebook posted. Definitely a huge, huge factor.
I think it continues to grow. For example, who I really follow is Rap. That's kind of my business online with Genius and all.
Yeah.
No rappers use Twitter anymore. Everyone basically, we used to call it like hip hop Twitter. It's gone. It all has switched over to Instagram now.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that, because for crypto, it's all Twitter and no Instagram, but for rap, it's all Instagram and no Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter needs to stop their whole crypto needs to stop the Twitter addiction and move to Instagram too. Like, you're not going to get people to adopt crypto by like being niche weirdos. Like, we need to become mainstream.
Yeah.
We need to make crypto cool. So
I mean, yeah, this was awesome, Mahbod. Thanks for chatting. And if you're listening or watching, you have a brilliant, only brilliant VC startup ideas. But if you do, hit him up on Instagram at, what was your handle again?
Mahbodpedia.
Okay. Thanks for being on. This was awesome.
You're the man, homie.
All right. Stay safe in New York, man. The
Show.
situation's crazy, but yeah, stay safe. All right. Taco is out.